Welcome to another project. In this project, we are going to create an animated search bar. As you can see from the final version of the project, we have a magnifier with a new morphism design. And when we click on the magnifier, we see a search bar and a microphone. And also, if we click on the magnifier again, the search bar goes back to its original size. In this project, we are using the new morphism design, and we're going to use JavaScript to add and remove classes to have different sizes for our search bar. And also you see an animation in the microphone and the search bar when we close and open the search bar. In the next section, we're going to start with the HTML part of the project. So see you in the next section. All right, let's start our project. First, we open the Visual Studio Code. Here we close the Get Started tab. In the File menu, we click on the Open folder. As usual, I would like to create the project in my desktop, but you can create it anywhere you like in your computer. So here we click on the desktop, and here we click on the New Folder button to create a new folder. We name the folder Animated Search Bar. And we press enter. Here we click on the select folder button to select the folder. We close the Get Started tab again, and on the left side in the Explorer section, we right click and we click on the new file. We name the file index.html. Now we have our HTML file on the right side, which is completely empty, but we can use an exclamation point and tab to create an HTML5 boilerplate. In the boilerplate, we have doc type, which tells the browser what version of HTML the page is written in. And for the HTML5, we just need to have HTML here. Then we have the HTML tag, which is the top level element in the HTML file and includes head and the body tag. The lang attribute inside the HTML opening tag sets the language of the page. And in our case, we set the language to be English. Then we have the head section that has the metadata tags and the title. The first meta tag, in the first meta tag, the chart set attribute defines the HTML character encoding, and the UTF-8 is recommended by HTML5 for web developers because it contains nearly all the characters and symbols. Then we have the compatibility meta tag, which tells the Internet Explorer browser to use the most recent rendering engine, which is now Edge. The viewport meta tag tells the browser on how to resize the page, and the first part of this meta tag sets the page's width to device's screen. For example, the mobile screen's width will be smaller than the computer screen's width. Then we have the initial zoom level. Let's use the Alt-C to turn on the word wrap so we can see all the codes. So this part of the viewport meta tag sets the initial zoom level of the page, which in our case is 100%. Then we have the title tag, which sets the title of the page. In order to see the browser inside the Visual Studio Code, we can use the Lifesaver extension. So here we just need to right click, and if you have installed Lifesaver in your Visual Studio Code, you can see this part in the menu. So live preview, show preview. We click here, and now we can see the browser on the right side, which is completely empty, but with the title document. Let's change the title to be the name of our project, which is Animated Search Bar. We can see the change inside the title of the page. Let's close this part. We don't need it now. So we drag this line to the left so we have more space on the right side in the index.html and the browser. Our search bar is going to have a magnifier and also a microphone. So in order to have these icons in our browser and in our website, I would like to use a website called Icon Finder. So we go back, we go to the desktop and we click on the Google Chrome. And here in the search bar, we're going to search for the icon finder. Actually, the icon we are using is similar to this page, the microphone, and also the search, the magnifier. So here we search icon finder, and in the search result, the first website, iconfinder.com, we click on this website, and here we search for first magnifier, and here on the left side we set the free icons, so we can see only the free ones. I would like to choose this one, which is very similar to the one in the Google here. So we click on it, and we right click on the image, and we click on copy image address. We go back to the Visual Studio Code, and in the body section, first we create a div with a class of search bar container, and inside this we have a image tag, and in src we paste the link that we have already copied. So we just use Ctrl-V to paste it, so we can see the magnifier on the right side. In the alternative one, we just write down magnifier. We just delete this magnifier. Then after the image, we have an input. We have an input with the class of input. The type is text, and we have a placeholder. We can see the input here. We have a placeholder. Let me save all. We just say search and some dots like this. And after the input, we have another image for the microphone. So we add the image tag, and we go back to the iconfinder.com website. And here we search for mic, but for the Google one. So we just say mic Google, and the first one, which is free too, we click on it, and we right click, and we click on copy image address. We go back to the Visual Studio Code, and we paste the link inside the src attribute using Ctrl-V. We can see it here. And in the alt section, we just say mic icon. Let's add some class to the images as well, so we can target them later, or we can do the styling. So we just say class. The first image is we just call magnifier, and for the last one, we add a class of mic icon. All right. That was it for the HTML part of the project. In the next section, we're going to start styling our project using CSS. So see you in the next section. All right, in the last section, we have finished with the HTML part of our project. We have brought two icons from iconsfinder.com, and we added an input with a placeholder of search. In this section, we're going to add the styling of our project using CSS. First, we need to create a CSS file. So here we open the Explorer section using Ctrl-Shift-D. And in the Explorer section, we right-click and we click on the new file. We name the file style.css and we press enter. Before using CSS in our project, we must add a link to the CSS file within the HTML code. So we go back to the index.html file, and just under the title tag, we add a link tag. We just write link and we click on the third auto suggestion, the one with the CSS. Now we have a link tag with the relationship between the HTML file and the external style sheet. The href attribute defines the destination of the link, and as both files, index.html and style.css, are located at the same directory, we just need to have style.css for the URL. Now we can start styling our project using CSS. We save this file using Ctrl-S, and we close the Explorer section by dragging this line to the left to have more space on the right side. And then we go to style.css. First, I would like to decrease the size of these icons so we have a better view of our project, so we can style them easier after that. So we have two classes. We have two images with two classes, the class of magnifier and also the class of mic icon. So we target these two classes using dot magnifier. We just set the width to be 25 pixel. You can see it here, and then we use the dot mic icon for this icon to style it, and we just set the width to be 30 pixels. All right, now we can easier style our project. So before doing anything, we just style the body section to bring the items to the center, change the position, and also the background color. First, we remove the space around the body elements, the default margin using margin 0, and we can use display flex to bring the items to the center horizontally using justify content center. And we can use height, 100% of the viewport height, to set the height of the body to the screen size horizontally. And then we can use align items center to bring the items to the center vertically. Then we change the background color to Alice blue. So we have a little bit of the bluish color, similar to white, but a little bit having like a blue color. So in this case, we can have the new morphism design in a better way. In order to have the new morphism design in our project, we need to have a color, we need to have a different color than white. Because if you have a white color, you cannot have the shadow at the top, which is white, and you cannot have this design. All right, let's add the container, change the container and add the box shadow and make the new morphism design. So we're gonna target this div with the class of search bar container. So we copy this class, we go to solid.css and we start styling it. We just need to change the display to flex to bring the items in the same row using align item center. We just change the display to flex first, and then we use align item center to make them completely in the same row. Then we change the background color to be the same as the body, which is Alice blue or Alice blue. Then we have the padding of 5 pixels. And let's add the box shadow first so we can see. So we have two shadow for having a new morphism design. First shadow is the under the container, which is the dark shadow, and we have another shadow on the top of the container, which is the white shadow. So the first one, the position of the horizontal shadow is 6 pixels. The position of the vertical shadow is 6 pixels as well. So we can see this is the vertical shadow. This one is horizontal shadow, 6 pixels. And then we have 10 pixels of blur radius. You can see the shadow now. And also we want the shadow to be transparent. So we use the color black 000 and 20% transparency. All right. We can use Alt-C to turn on the word wrap so we can see the shadow nicer. And let's add some border radius as well. First, we set the width to be 300 pixels. Then we change the height to be 50 pixels. We add a border radius to have a rounded corner. I wanted to completely be round in the corners, so we choose the same height the same border radius as the height, so it's 50 pixels. And let's add another box shadow, which is white and locates on the top left. This one was the bottom right because we had a positive amount of 6 pixel and 6 pixel goes to the right and the bottom. And for the next shadow, which is white, we have a negative amount of 6 pixel, another 6 pixel negative for the top, so we can see the top and left 6 pixel, 10 pixels blur, and we don't want it to be black, we want it to be white, so we use RGBA function to create a white color. The white color is 255, 255, and 255, but this one we wanted to have 70% transparency. Now we have the neomorphism design for our bar. That's very easy. You just need two shadows. First for the bottom right, black, and for the top left, white shadow. All right. So let's add some margin, which is a margin 10 pixels. So when we have a smaller screen, so we can have some space to the next here outside the bar. All right, and then let's continue styling the magnifier. So we just change the cursor to be pointer. So when we hover over it, we're going to have a pointing hand. And let's position this absolute to bring it a little bit to the right side. So we position it absolute, and we just say left 20 pixels. But this one actually has a 20 pixels to the screen size. We wanted to have a 20 pixels inside the bar. So we need to change the position of the parent, which is a search bar container, to relative. So the magnifier is here. The parent is search bar container, which is this bar. Let's position this microphone to the right side too. So we just say position absolute, and we want it to be positioned in the right side, 20 pixels, or just 10 pixels is enough, I believe. Yeah, and let's install this input as well. So we target the input with its class, which is input. So we target it here. We just say input. We change the background color to be transparent, so we don't have any background color. Then we remove the border using border none, and we just change the margin to be 10 pixels top and bottom, and 50 pixels left and right. So we position it very nice in the middle. And let's remove this orange outline. We want to create a design similar to Google, so we're removing this outline. But actually, it's been recommended to have the outline for the website. If you have the real website you're designing and you want your user use your website, never remove the outline, because it's recommended for people with a disability, and they can use our website as well. But for this only this project, we remove the outline to have a beautiful looking website. All right, and also the color is fine, but I would like to decrease the color of the text. We just set the color. We use RGB function 100, 100, and 100, which is like a dark gray color. Yeah. All right. So now we want to add a functionality to when we click on this magnifier, it expands, and in normal time we want to have a smaller icon. So in order to do that, we need to add some class. We need to add a class to our website. Here, for example, we add a class of active, and when the active is added, we want to have a smaller bar. So we say when the active is there, we want the size of this. We want the size of this search bar instead of being 300 to be only 50 pixels. So we just say if the active exists, the search bar container, it has the width of 50 pixels. We just need to remove this space here. All right. But when we are actually making a 50 pixels, we still have this search input and also the microphone. So we want to remove the microphone on the search as well. So we just say if the active exists, we want this input to be invisible. We just say visibility none, or we just change the width to be 0. And also for the microphone as well, we just say dot mic icon. We want to change the width to be 0. So later we're going to add a transition to the width of the microphone and search is going to increase and decrease with the animation as well. So yeah, that was it for the CSS part of our project. In the next section, we're going to add functionality to our project using JavaScript. So see you in the next section. All right, in the last section, we have finished with the CSS part of our project. We have added a class named active to our search bar container, which when we add it, we have a circle, and when we remove it, we have a big bar with the search and the microphone. But when we have this class active, we don't have the microphone or the search bar, and the width of the search bar is only 50 pixels. Let's remove this active class, and we're going to use JavaScript to add and remove this class using toggle method, and we're going to add some animation. So we're going to have like a smaller and a bigger bar, and the transition between these two sizes. So first we create a JavaScript file. We open the Explorer section using Ctrl+Shift+E, and in the Explorer section we right click and we click on the new file. We name the file index.js and we press enter. We drag it to this part, and before using the JavaScript in our project, we need to add a link to the JavaScript file within the HTML code. So we go back to the index.html and we scroll down, and here at the end of the body tag, we add a script tag. We just write SC and we click on the second auto suggestion, the one with the src. As both files, the index.html and index.js are located at the same directory, for the src attribute, we need to just have index.js. Now we can use the JavaScript for our project. So we close this Explorer section to have more space for the coding part. We close this browser a little bit more, and we go to index.js to start adding functionality to our project. First, we need to bring this magnifier element. So we need to handle the clicking events of this icon. So in order to bring this element, we need to use the query selector method, because this image has the class of magnifier. So in order to return the an element with a class, we can use the query selector method. So here we create a constant and we call it search bar container element, and we equal it to document.query selector, and the CSS selector was search. I'm always making this mistake. So search bar container. All right. Let's use Alt-C to turn on the word wrap, and we add a add event listener method to this element, and the event we want to add is click. So we want to handle the click. And if someone click on this icon, we want to trigger a function, which we need to add here. So the things we want to do is to add and remove the active class. Actually, we don't need to add event listener method to this element. We need to add it to the magnifier, and the magnifier has the class of magnifier. I don't know why I first brought this one. So we need to bring to magnifier. So we just say counts magnifier, and we say magnifier element. We just say document.query selector, and the class is magnifier. So we need to add an event listener to this element. So we just say magnifier element that add event listener, because we want to handle the click of this icon, and we want to add or remove the active class to this element, which is the parent search bar container. And we just say search bar container dot class list, and we want to toggle the class of active. So let's try this by clicking on the this magnifier icon. As you can see, we successfully added the active class. And let's add the transition. So we have we're going to have animations instead of sudden change of the width and removal of the microphone and the search bar. So in the solid CSS, first we add a transition to the search bar container. So for the width, because the width is changing from the 300 pixels to 50 pixels. So we add a transition on width, and we want to have 1.5 second for the transition. Let's try it, and we can see the movement. But the microphone is changing, appearing suddenly. So we want to have a transition to the microphone and the search bar as well. So we go to the microphone and we add a transition on the width as well, because we are changing the width from 30 pixels to 0 pixels. So we say width, and we want to have a little bit less than 1.5. So we just say 0.4 seconds. And we can see that it's appearing with the transition. But I wanted to have a delay, so when the transition of this bar is finishing, at the end, I want this one to appear and disappear at the end as well. So we just say transition delay. We add a 1 second delay. So now we see that the microphone disappears after 1 second delay and appears with the delay as well. And let's add the same things to the search as well. So we can copy this and add it to the input section as well. So we try it. Still the width input. So the active, the 0. Oh, we haven't add a width to the input first. So we just add the width of 100%. So now we try. And we can see that this is a little bit fast. We just say 1 second. All right. And for the delay, just add some less delay. So make it half a second. This one looks better. You can play with these numbers and get the best for your project. That was it for the project. I hope you enjoyed and learned many things. We have practiced neomorphism design, and also transition, and also removing and adding the classes with the JavaScript. And also we have learned how to bring the icons from the iconfinder.com. Also, before I forget, we should add the class of active here as a default. So when someone comes to our website, they can see only a circle, and when they click on the magnifier, they see the real size search bar. I hope you enjoyed the project, and see you in the next project.